Hello, Tombstone. Welcome. How are you? She's gonna start barking right now. Hello, Erin. Welcome. Blessed. Very good. Awesome. 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 So, if you guys weren't with me yesterday, my replays are still up from yesterday. They should be up for a couple more hours. I talked about things not to say to a chronically ill person. So if you want to check that out, they're still going to be up probably for an hour or so. So I talked about that for a little bit, and then today I'm going to talk about some coping skills and a really good book for people that are sick. So I wonder if a few more people are going to come in. I don't know. It's kind of early in the day. So I am from California. Hi, Scott. Welcome. I'm from California, Los Angeles, California. Where are you guys from? You're from Texas, right? I think I just saw your profile. It was 102 yesterday. Oh my God, that's terrible. Houston, Texas. Okay, I know somebody else on Periscope from Houston as well. I would die in 102-degree weather. Yes, Tombstone, I believe... yeah, you're from LA. You live by Bianca, I believe. Yes, 102 degrees is ridiculous. I would totally die in 102-degree weather. I can barely stand it when it gets like 85 over here. I'm very, very sensitive to hot weather. All right, so if you guys didn't catch me yesterday, I talked about things that you shouldn't say to a sick person. It was a really good broadcast. Hi, Tiffany. It's a subject that I think is really important for people that are not chronically ill, if they're dealing with somebody that is chronically ill. And today I'm going to recommend a book that is also good for people who are sick and who are not sick. And that book is called How to Be Sick. And it's by Toni Bernhard. It's a really, really good book. Basically, oh, you're welcome, Roxy. I'm not sure why you're thanking me, but you're welcome. So, thank you for the hearts too, by the way. So I have Lyme disease. Oh, the book suggestion, yeah, it's a really, really good book. I found it very, very helpful. I have late stage Lyme disease. I've had it for probably almost a decade. The last 5 years have actually been the most challenging. And I went through treatment. Things didn't work out that great. I have a YouCaring fundraising page. It's in my bio. It's youcaring.com/Marisol has Lyme. You could check that out for more details about my illness. But I'll be talking more and more about my illness throughout the month. So I'll have, I'm doing a broadcast a day for May and for Lyme Disease Awareness Month. But it's also Mental Health Awareness Month. So this book deals with a lot of ways to cope with chronic illness, and I found it really helpful. So I want to do an exercise for you guys from this book that has really helped me a lot, because I'm very limited in the things that I can do. So this exercise is called the inquiry practice. So basically it asks you to question what you're feeling. Are your thoughts valid? You know, are the things that you're thinking actually true? So for example, you know, if I want to go to, you know, if I get invited to a party or something, and hi Shane. That is Shane, correct? Yes, it is Shane. So if I want to go to my friend, you know, I got invited to a birthday party and I want to go, and it's like, I really want to go. I'm so upset that I can't go, and why can't I go? And I really wanted to go to this party, and, you know, now you're upset and you're depressed and you're angry because you can't go to this party because you have a chronic illness. And this exercise really asks you to pay attention to that and to question whether you really want to go. Do you really want to go to this party? You know, what's your life going to be like if you don't go to this party? Is it really going to adversely affect your life? Are you really going to miss out on anything? It really asks you to, it makes you ask these questions. So the exercise kind of goes like this. So we're going to use the example of the party. It's called the turnaround. It's an inquiry practice, but the practice is called the turnaround. So the thought is, I really want to go to the birthday party, to my friend's birthday party this Saturday. Let's use that as an example. So you're going to ask yourself 4 questions first. The first question is this thought true? Is it true? Do you really want to go to your friend's birthday party? So, okay, so I think about it in my head and it's like, yeah, I really want to go to my friend's birthday party. You know, I haven't seen him in a while. I really want to celebrate his birthday. I really want to go out and have fun. So yes, the thought is true. I do want to go to the birthday party. That's question number 1. Number 2, do you absolutely know that it's true? Do you know for sure that it's true? Is that thought 100% true? And you think about it and you're like, well, yeah, I do want to go. I genuinely do want to go. I have nothing else to do. I have no other plans. I haven't seen my friend in a while. I really do want to go. So you know that the thought is absolutely true. The third question is, what is your reaction when you believe this thought? So when you think about the fact that you do want to go, but you can't really, what are the feelings that you go through? So for me, it's sadness, loneliness. I miss my friend. I'm missing out on, on life, I guess. I'm missing out on being young and doing the things that everybody does, which is going to their friends' birthday parties, going out, having a good time. So you feel isolated, you feel lonely, you feel upset. Now, the fourth question is, who would I be without this thought? So if I didn't think, yes, I want to go, if I didn't have that thought, who would I be? So if I didn't have that thought, I probably would be happier. I probably would feel less alone. If I didn't have that thought, I wouldn't feel those feelings of sadness and loneliness and isolation. So, life would be so much easier if I just didn't have that thought that I want to go. So, this is what you do. You take that thought. Hi, Zyla, welcome. You take that thought. My thought is, I really want to go to the birthday party on Saturday. And you say, I really don't want to go to the birthday party on Saturday. Of course, you don't believe this, but there's more to it than that. So you're going to turn it around. That's why it's called a turnaround. I really don't want to go to this birthday party on Saturday. So now you have to tell yourself why. Why do you not want to go to this birthday party on Saturday? So number 1, for me, and these are specific to me, you may have other things that are specific to your illness or to your disability or to your, whatever issues you have, mental health issues or whatever. But for me, this is specific to my Lyme disease and, to my chronic illness. So I really don't want to go to the birthday party on Saturday because, number 1, I would struggle with the lighting. I have a severe form of light sensitivity and I would be very uncomfortable. I would end up getting a migraine. I would end up feeling nauseous or feeling sick. And I would end up having to leave early anyways. So, I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't have a good time. Another reason, you can come up with a minimum of 3 reasons, but you can come up with more than that if you want. Another one is the food might make me sick. I have a lot of food sensitivities. There's a lot of things I can't eat, and I'm either going to end up starving at the end of the night, or I'm going to end up feeling sick because I ate something that didn't agree with me. Yes, I'm very sensitive to almost everything. And we'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about that in another scope later this month because there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah. There's people with Lyme disease, you have a tendency to have food sensitivities or certain foods that make their symptoms worse. So I'm on a very restricted diet. So that's the second reason why I probably, I wouldn't have a good time, and I really don't want to go to this party. And the last reason, I was kind of stretching it here, I don't feel like driving. I just don't feel like driving the distance. My friend lives far away. It would be maybe like an hour drive. I would have to deal with traffic. I'm just not in the mood to deal with it. I would rather be driven around, but I have nobody to drive me. So that's the third reason, I just don't feel like driving. I don't feel like sitting in traffic. I would rather just sit at home or lay down or maybe go to a park, near my house. And when you start going through these things and coming up with these reasons, you do start to realize like, yeah, it's just going to be so much easier to stay home or to do something close to home. And this isn't a foolproof exercise. It's not going to make you feel amazing when you start looking at the list of things, but it does put things into perspective. There have been a couple of occasions where I've told myself, no, you have to go. You have to go to this family party. You have to force yourself to stick it out and get through it. You have to go to this, your niece's birthday party because she's your niece and, she's little and you're missing out and this and that. And then I start really thinking about it, and it's like there's so much stuff that I'm going to have to deal with that I'm probably not going to enjoy it. I'm probably not, I'm going to be feeling so uncomfortable that I'm not even going to be able to have time with my niece because I'm going to be thinking about everything else. And it does make me feel a bit better. It's not going to make you feel 100% better, but it will help in some way. And also to sort of put things into perspective. Yes, you are a disabled person, and you do have limitations, and this is why. Because it's going to end up making you hurt. You're going to be in pain. You're going to feel sick. And you want to minimize those symptoms. Yesterday I was talking about things that you shouldn't tell a sick person. And one of them was, just think positive. Just stay positive. Things are going to get better. And just look at the bright side and look at the silver lining. And sometimes that does help. Sometimes I do try to look at the silver lining and tell myself, well, at least you don't have to deal with, a crowded bar or something because you can't go out, at night or anything like that. But that only does so much. I'm not a firm believer in the whole Pollyanna thing where it's like, oh, things are great. I don't believe in the fake it till you make it philosophy where, if I just put a smile on my face and, that's just, if I smile, eventually I'm going to feel happiness. If I think positive, eventually I will feel positive. When you have a chronic illness, that doesn't really cut it. I think it's also true for certain types of mental illness. Just telling yourself to think positive and to snap out of it doesn't work. It doesn't work for everybody. This exercise sort of tells you to accept and to feel what you're feeling. And this book is actually based on that. It's loosely based on Buddhist teachings, and Buddhist teachings sort of encourage you to feel what you're feeling. So, if I feel sadness, if I feel unhappy, it encourages you to sort of feel those feelings and not ignore them. I've seen a lot of people, even people that aren't sick, people that are healthy, but that are in situations, maybe relationships or in work situations where they tell themselves, if I just look at the bright side, or it's not that bad, or making excuses for their boyfriend or girlfriend. Oh, it's just that they're stressed. It's just that they're this. It's just that they're that. And eventually, at the end of the day, it still sucks. They're still in an unhappy relationship, or they're still at a job that they hate. Sometimes the job thing you really can't help. So, you kind of have to, pick your battles. But, I feel like acceptance has really helped a lot. And that's what this book is based on. If you feel angry, don't tell yourself, I'm not angry. I'm actually okay. I'm okay with this. You just have to say, you know what? I'm really pissed right now. I'm not happy that, I can't go to this party. I'm so mad that I have to sit home by myself when my friends are having a good time. And I've learned to sort of feel those feelings, because I would kind of deny them, or, you just kind of swallow them down and not really vent them out. And that ends up, making you feel worse. And this disease has really forced me to do that. I have no choice but to feel what I'm feeling. I can't drink, I can't smoke, I can't, do drugs, because it all makes me sick. And usually those are the things that people turn to when they want to ignore their feelings. And unfortunately, I don't have that option anymore. I actually have to feel the feelings, and I have to accept that I'm sad, and that I'm angry, and that I'm lonely, and it sucks. But when you deny those feelings, the longer you deny them, the longer they're going to hurt you. And that's the premise of this book, and that's the premise of a lot of Buddhist type teachings. The more you deny, the longer it's going to take you to feel better. When I first got divorced, or actually when I first left my husband, my ex-husband, I was really, really sad and really devastated. But I had spent probably close to a year not accepting the fact that things were coming to an end. We were going to therapy, we were going to a couples counselor, and I was just like, no, we're going to make this work. It's going to work. It's going to work. But given the fact that he had a psychiatric condition and I had a chronic illness, a very serious chronic illness, the facts were right in front of us. It just wasn't a good combination, and things were just not going to work out. And of course, once I left, I was super depressed and super sad, and I was trying to find a way to distract myself. Maybe I should date someone else. Maybe I should just try to go out. I should force myself to go out to a bar, and I should force myself to drink, and I should just figure out a way to work around that. And I couldn't, because my illness kept me from being able to do those things. And so I just dealt with it. And you go through all of the, you go through denial, you go through sadness, depression. I cried, I was angry, I was, super depressed and really sad, and just can't get out of bed in the morning. And there was a time when I was like, you know what, just let it happen. If you don't want to get out of bed, don't get out of bed. If you feel like crying, just cry. I come from a family where we're not permitted to have feelings. If you're sad, don't be sad. If you're crying, stop crying. If you're angry, you shouldn't be angry. And so I grew up with that a lot. And now, I just decided, you know what, I have to start doing this. Let's see what happens if I just cry whenever I feel like it. If I just lay around when I, want to lay around and don't feel like doing anything. And sure enough, it did take a while, but I started getting over things. And I started feeling better over time. And I started looking at my family and, looking at my parents and looking at other members of my family that were totally in denial about my illness and how it's just eating them alive. They continue to deny and to deny and to deny. And, they're miserable, and every day that passes, they're developing health problems, um, you know, uh, other issues, substance abuse issues, anger. Uh, they have a hard time getting along with other people because they refuse to accept reality and to accept um, their own feelings and my illness. Um, and that was, a huge turning point for me, is to see other people and how their lack of acceptance was hurting them, but my acceptance was actually benefiting me. The moment I accepted that my marriage was over, it actually got better. I got divorced. I get along perfectly with my ex-husband. Everything is great. There's no animosity, but it took me accepting the fact that he had this mental health condition, and it took me accepting that I had an illness and that those two things just weren't going to work out. And I learned to see that our marriage was not a failure, it was actually a success. And it took accepting the divorce to see that. And there's people that I see that have been married for 30 plus years, and they refuse to accept the fact that their marriage is a huge failure, and it's killing them. It's totally killing them. So I think these exercises of acceptance really do help. With my illness, at the very beginning, when I was first diagnosed and when I first started to see how much money it was going to cost and how painful the treatment was going to be, I was just, I couldn't accept it, and I just denied it, and I was just unhappy and hysterical and crying. And finally, I just gave into it. I gave into the illness, and I said, you know what, this illness is going to be a part of me for a long time, and I just need to accept that. And once I accepted it, a lot of the depression and the anxiety started to alleviate. Not 100%. It's never going to go away 100%. But, I realized that I could still have some kind of a life while having this illness. I just had to accept the fact that I had the illness first. So that's how it's helped me. Like I said, different things work for different people. Some people like to think positive, and that helps them. I don't find that that's particularly helpful for me. I do try to stay positive, but there are going to be days when it's just like I'm not. Lately I've been having a lot of that. I don't feel positive about the direction that I'm going in. So I just have to accept what's happening. And if I accept it, then I can sort of deal with it a little bit better. Because being positive and being positive can kind of border with denial. So if you're like really super positive, like a little too positive, like, oh, I've got cancer and, it's really bad, but I'm just going to stay positive. I think it kind of borders into denial. And it can also hinder treatment as well. Some people feel that just being positive and not thinking about the illness is going to help them, but it actually can be very dangerous. I've known people with cancer that have done that, and they delayed treatment because they just either don't want to think about it or they want to stay positive. And, that ends up, being a really big problem. It was a really big problem for me. I ignored all the signs and symptoms. Hi, Pierre. Welcome. I ignored all the signs and symptoms for a long time. And, now I am in this situation where I'm not getting better. Hi, Jesse. Welcome. So I'm almost at the end of the broadcast. You guys, I'll leave it up for replay. But yeah, I think acceptance can also help you find a treatment that will work for you. Not accepting things does not help. It doesn't help anybody. Thank you for the hearts. So I just feel that acceptance is a really helpful thing. And don't ignore your feelings. Feel them. It sucks. I hate feeling sad or I hate feeling depressed. But if you ignore it, it's just going to keep coming back. Eventually, I heard a therapist on here say, eventually the feelings will come to the surface. They're going to manifest in some way, whether it's alcoholism, drug abuse, abusing your kids, abusing your family. It's going to come out in some way. So it's better to accept it now and to deal with it and to work through it. Yes, feelings remind you that you're human. It's very unpleasant, but denying them is even worse. It's just going to take you, it's just going to take you down a bad road. So if you haven't yet, check out my YouCaring page, youcaring.com/Marisol has Lyme. There's more information there about my illness. I'm going to scope a day for May. May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. It's also Mental Health Awareness Month. So I'll be scoping at least once a day for the month of May, talking about different things that I do to cope with my Lyme disease. And I will be talking about my symptoms. I haven't talked about a lot of my symptoms yet because they're very, very involved. We talked about that yesterday, Jesse. So I encourage you to watch my broadcast from yesterday. I think they're going to be up for an hour more. So I encourage you to watch those because we did talk about positive thinking and turning things around. And you might want to watch this one on replay as well because I talk about that. Positive thinking is okay, but it doesn't work for everybody. So if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, follow me. It's HotSun100384. Check out my YouCaring page. Share it. Share these scopes. Share the YouCaring page. It'll be fun. My fundraising will be open until the end of May. And watch my replays. I'm trying to figure out how to upload them to YouTube. I think I uploaded one from yesterday to YouTube, but it kind of got cut off. So watch them before it's too late. And I'll be doing more topics the rest of this month. And I will be talking about my symptoms because a lot of people ask me about my symptoms, but there's so much to them that I'm going to have to divide them up into different scopes. And in order for people to really get a feel of what I deal with every day. So each symptom is going to be on a different day because they're really, really big. And I think I might do the light sensitivity this Sunday, and that one's going to be a huge one. So I'll leave that replay up. So thank you for joining the broadcast. I'll leave it up for replay. Some of them may not be up for replay, though, and I'll let you guys know which ones. But I'll leave this one up. Watch it. Watch the ones from yesterday before it's too late. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you for being with me.